And good morning, everybody. This is Black Success Magazine, the podcast. And welcome, everybody. It's Black Success Magazine, the podcast. I'm your host, Sherman Ray. And we come to you each and every day, Monday through Friday, 8:30 in the morning to about 9 o'clock. And we talk about people, places, trends, things that anything from a Black success perspective. Um, If you'd like to come to our website, it's at blacksuccessmagazine.com, or you can email me at info@blacksuccessmagazine.com. Folks, we've got some great news for you today, and we've got some things of interest. We're going to talk a little bit about Black history. We're going to be talking about some people who have done some great things in their lives, but we want to start off the show today by talking about um, a death that happened just recently, and we really want to just kind of highlight one of the greats and one of the historic people in history. It's Mary Wilson, and for those of you who don't know who Mary Wilson is, Mary Wilson was in the Supremes, and I'm going to show you a picture of Mary Wilson here real quick. Hopefully, you can see that. Mary Wilson was one of the co-founders of the Supremes. And for those of you that are of age, if you're over 30, 40, 50 years old, you know who the Supremes are. Diana Ross, Mary Wilson, and you probably remember who she was. And if you don't, folks, this is history. This is what is great about Black history. Not that somebody dies or anything like that, but that you have people like Mary Wilson who come into view. She actually lived here in Las Vegas, where I live at, and she was one of the founding members of the Supremes. She was actually the longest member of the Supreme. So she started the group, her and Diana Ross, and she died at 76 of age. Her publicist told, and she just did it was within the last 24 hours that she passed away. She passed away suddenly this evening, according to a statement by her longtime friend and publicist, Jay Schwartz. The Supremes, and if you can see the picture right now, from left to right, Florence Ballard, Mary Wilson in the middle, and Diana Ross. And they posed the camera outside of a London airport. So we say goodbye to one of the greats. The singer was in her home in Henderson, Nevada, here in Nevada. She's survived by her daughter, son, several grandchildren, a sister, and a brother. So the services, they say, will be private due to COVID restrictions. And, they want to celebrate her life. So one of the things that we'll talk about just a little bit here about Mary Wilson, and I've seen her twice. For those of you who may have heard me say this before, I was a singer before, and I used to travel on the road with an older group called the Platters. Was with that group for about 3 years, so I was very fortunate that I saw singers and performers like Mary Wilson. I got to see Lola Falana, just great people. Who he just passed away fairly recently too. Cornell Gunther and the Coasters, Little Anthony and the Imperials, Frankie Valli, those kinds of guys. So I saw a lot of those guys. But this morning, we found out that last evening, Mary Wilson of the Supremes passed away, and we just want to wish her family. We send them all of our condolences. For those of you who didn't know some of the songs that they sang, Stop in the Name of Love, Baby Love, Baby Love, I miss you, oh, I miss your love, that kind of stuff. So the Supremes had a number of people who were in the group over the years, but Mary Wilson was she was one of the best, and she'd been with the group for many, many years. So we just want to say condolences to the Supremes, to the Wilson family her surviving members of her family, and also all those people who just love the Supremes. I want to talk a little bit about the father of. I'm going to change gears here just a little bit. Um, so many of you may not know who this guy is. So if you don't know who this guy is, let me. I'm going to change views here just a little bit, and let's see if I can. I'm going to stop sharing my screen there for just a little bit. I want to welcome you all to the show if you're just joining the show today, and let you know that we're changing the format up just a little bit, just to change things up a little bit. We'll be focusing a little bit more on trends, topics, that kind of stuff. So you'll get to see a little bit more of that, which will be cool. So I think people really just kind of enjoy that too. Also, so let's talk a little bit about the father of Black history, and this gentleman right here. For those of you, some of you may not know who this guy is. This man his name is Dr. Carter G. Woodson, and he is the father of Black History Month. And I want to tell you, and this is we talked about this yesterday. We'll be talking about it for probably the next number of months and years, because I think there's going to be a push for this to formalize Black History Month, because right now we're going on the finishing up the first week of Black History Month, and many people don't even know why, who, what, or they even how Black History Month even came about. Well, this man right here, Carter Woodson, he initiated Negro History Week, which corresponded with the birthdays of Frederick Douglass and Abraham Lincoln. In 1976, the celebration was expanded to include the entire month of February to educate people of all ethnic and social backgrounds the meaning of the Black experience. And this we're gonna go into this just a little bit, because this is really cool. So Carter Godwin Woodson is born in 1875. He died in 1950. Was an American historian, author, journalist, and the founder of the Association for the Study of African American Life and History. He's one of the first scholars to study the history of the African diaspora, including African American history. The founder of the Journal of Negro History in 1916, Woodson has been called the father of Black history. In February of 1926, he launched the celebration of Negro History Week, the precursor of Black History Month. Now, this is probably one of the most important things that we will talk about on this show, is about Mr. Woodson, because many Black folks don't know why we celebrate Black History Month. Some people it gives them time to talk about other things, but really it's to talk about the Black experience. It's about talking about who Black people are in America. And as we were talking about this yesterday, one of the things that I really want to begin to look at is to look at codifying or really formalizing Black History Month, because it started out with just being a week. You start out a week and you talk about all the great things that Black people have done, and really it's not enough time. It really isn't. Black people have been in America since the 1400s, since the beginning of the founding of this country. We've been in every major war in the country, and so it's really important that we are a part of the conversation about what's going on in America. So one of the things that we were talking about, and we'll kind of touch on just a second here, is about codifying or formalizing what we do in Black History Month. And that's really kind of what I'm going to talk about now, is once again, just kind of revisit that. I believe that in order to formalize Black History Month, what we could do is we could create 4 different weeks in Black History Month. And the first week we would talk about Africa and about our cultural history. We could be talking about Egypt. We could be talking about Nigeria, where a lot of activities going on. The Congo, Cameroon, South Africa, all the places, Bali. We could be talking about all kinds of things about Africa and just really informing our uh, Black community who we are as a people. Second week, we could be talking about our tribes and what tribe we personally came from. My family is from Jamaica, but I did a DNA search. My roots are in Nigeria. So Nigeria, and then I started doing a little bit more of a study on it about the culture, probably what tribe I came from, what language we spoke. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that as the weeks go by to try to formalize that also. The third week, I believe we probably should be talking about civil rights, not only civil rights, but the healing after civil rights. So, whole slavery experience, and then about the healing that comes after slavery. Um, yeah, and this is probably one of the most important parts because we still, as a people, have not healed from slavery. And there's a lot of reasons for that. But if we don't make the initiative, we don't take the initiative to actually start the healing process, we will never heal. We'll be having picking at that wound over and over and over again. We cannot wait for America to decide that we are, as a people, are healed. Okay, you just like and I studied psychology, guys. I've got a psychology degree. This is really important. You cannot wait for somebody who has victimized you to say it's okay before you are healed. Does that make sense? You cannot wait for somebody who has hurt you to say, okay, I'm done hurting you, so now you can be healed. Okay, it doesn't work that way. You have to decide in your own mind. We as a people have to decide in our own mind, we are healed, we're done with that, we're moving on, whether America likes it or not, or whether this person or that group or whatever likes it or not, we have to be healed. Okay. That's week 3. And in week 4 in Black History Month, I really believe should be a celebration of our newness of life and moving forward, our future. So that's when you have parades. That's when you're doing dancing. You're having potlucks. Everybody's getting together. You're just enjoying just this freedom, this newness of life. So week 1, Black History Month, I really believe should be about history in Africa. Week number 2, we should be talking about our tribes, what ancestral tribes we're from, and embracing those ancestral tribes we have, wearing all the hats and all the beads and all that other stuff, rituals. Number 3, civil rights and healing. Stress on healing, okay? That we're moving forward. And week number 4, celebration of going into the future and new life. So that's what I really believe should be moving forward in Black History Month. Let's take a look at another story. And this story is about a woman who just became the first head of the World Trade Organization. Her name is, and this is a tough name, guys. Her name is Ngozi Okonjo Iweala. Okay, that's her name. Her name is, and this is a tough name, so don't ask me to say it again. Her name is and I won't say it again. So we'll just call her Ngozi. Okay, Ngozi. Ngozi Okonjo Iweala. Okay, she became the first Black woman to lead the World Trade Organization. Why is this important? Well, we're talking about Black History Month. We're talking about Black success. After the South Korean candidate dropped out of the running, Miss Ngozi is set to become the first Black woman to become president of the World Trade Organization. This is big stuff. Okay. And this is why this is so important, folks. In America, and we look at America and we look about, we've never moved forward. Black people aren't getting their due. Okay, the head of the WHO, the World Health Organization, is a Black man. Now the head of the World Trade Organization is a person of color, a Black person. Okay, and the vice president of the United States, the most powerful nation on the planet, is a person of color. She's second in line to becoming the most powerful person in the world. According to CNN, South Korean Trade Minister announced on Friday that she would be dropping out of the running for the position, clearing the way for Ngozi Iweala to oversee the organization. She's an economist. So this isn't just like, hey, guess what? We're going to give a black person a bone. It's a set aside. No, she's not. She's an economist and former finance minister of where? Nigeria. Come on, man. Yes, man. So Nigeria, she's gotten widespread support among the members of the organization. The Trump organization supported the Korean prime minister, and it complicated things as all members of the World Trade Organization must agree for a new member to be appointed. So evidently, because President Trump liked the South Korean trade minister, nobody else wanted it. So that's fine too. Organization been leaderless since their last leader stepped down from his position in August, a year earlier. Then was his term. He left amid an escalating dispute between the United States and China. And so now we have the head of the World Trade Organization. Congratulations. So excited for her that she's done such a great job. This is a great time. This is, like I said, folks, this is a great time to be Black in America. We highlight in Black Success Magazine all day long. It's all we talk about are the successes of Black people in business, marriages, finance, world leaders. That's really what it's all about. I believe that if we do not highlight the great things that are going on in the lives of Black people, how can we aspire to do great things? You look at the newspapers nowadays, and this, and for those of you who are watching us on, thank you, Guy. I appreciate Guy Dawson was saying that Mary Wilson was great, and I really do. That's pretty cool. You look in the newspapers nowadays, and all you see are things about bad things, bad, especially when it comes to Black folks. And then we complain when you don't see any Black role models in Hollywood or on TV or anywhere else in society. Well, racism is big business, folks. Okay, I'm the one who said it. I'm going to say it now. I know this is Black Success Magazine, but just because we are Black Success Magazine does not mean that we are blind to what's going on in the culture. Our culture thrives on negativity, and bad news makes money. Good news doesn't make money. We could be very successful if we were like other periodicals and we just talked about how racism is bad. People love it. They love to talk about racism. The hard thing is to spend your time looking for good things. This is what people need to see. This is what you need to see. If you're watching this video right now and you're listening to this podcast, it's because you want to hear about good things that we're doing and tell you, folks, we are doing some awesome things. This month or next month coming out, we'll have the March edition of Black Success Magazine will be coming out. It'll be our second edition. Very excited about it. You're going to see a story in there that is going to blow your mind. It's going to put in perspective how far Black Americans have come in this nation in such a short period of time. And it's going to show you it's diametrically opposed to what the popular culture tells you. Okay, the popular culture is telling you Black folks haven't moved an inch since slavery, since 1861. Okay, that's not true. It's not true even close. Black folks in America have done tremendously well, and the future looks bright if we embrace it. So that's what we're going to be talking about. Let's talk about, many of you watched the Super Bowl recently. And in the Super Bowl, there was a story about the greats. So the great, what's his name? Tom Brady. So Tom Brady did a great thing. I mean, he really did. He won another Super Bowl. Wonderful. We are so excited about Tom Brady being a Super Bowl winner. Patrick Mahomes has many, many years to go, and he's going to be great also. But there was a guy that was an NFL great that many people do not know about. His name was Emil Tunnell, okay, or Emlyn Tunnell. And the Coast Guard just honored him because he was actually a veteran, a naval veteran. So I want to tell you a little bit about him. Before he became the first black player inducted to, guess what, the Pro Football Hall of Fame, Emlyn Tunnell served in the Coast Guard during and after World War II, where he was credited with saving the lives of 2 shipmates in separate incidents. Now a Coast Guard cutter in Atlantic building on the Coast Guard Academy campus are being named in honor of the former NFL defensive back who died in 1975. As the service aims, to highlight this little-known story and its own effects and its own efforts to do better when it comes to race and celebrating diversity. So this is another one of those great stories. Emlyn Tunnell was the first black paper signed by the New York Giants and later played for the Green Bay Packers, but not much was known about his Coast Guard service until 2008. Commander Bill McKinstry recognized Tunnell's name on the back of, or he noticed or recognized his name on the back of a photograph showing a Coast Guard basketball team from the late 1940s. This is pretty cool. His research uncovered a remarkable service career that Tunnell, who had been a steward's mate, had downplayed. In 1944, Tunnell was unloading fuel and explosives from a Coast Guard or from a cargo ship in Papua New Guinea when it was hit by a Japanese torpedo. Tunnell used his bare hands to beat out flames that had engulfed a shipmate, suffering burns in the process. 2 years later, while stationed in Newfoundland, Tunnell jumped into 32-degree Fahrenheit water to save another man who had fallen from the USS Tampa. So this is the interesting thing about this. This man, Emlyn Tunnell, who was the first black NFL Hall of Famer, inducted into the Hall of Fame, being honored by the U.S. Navy. Now, this is interesting thing about a lot of times what happened, especially in the 1940s and previous to that, black players or black service people were not given the credit they were due. Many of you have heard of Buffalo Soldiers, and the thing about Buffalo Soldiers that was astonishing was the amount of work they did and the amount of credit they were not given. Teddy Roosevelt, many of you know who Teddy Roosevelt was. He was I think Teddy Roosevelt was like the 11th president of the United States, or 10th or something like that. He had the Rough Riders, and the Rough Riders were this band of, soldiers. They went to Cuba and they were credited with taking San Juan Hill. Well, the truth is that they didn't take San Juan Hill. The Buffalo Soldiers did. The Buffalo Soldiers were there first. As a matter of fact, Teddy Roosevelt and his Rough Riders were getting their butts kicked. And I've got several books that corroborate this. They were getting their butts kicked by, the Cubans that were there, people fighting for their land. And the Buffalo Soldiers came along and saved them and took San Juan Hill. When it came time to take pictures, though, of this momentous occasion, photographers said, hey, we cannot have these black guys up there taking credit for this. And Teddy Roosevelt, the Rough Riders, went up, took the picture as the ones who took San Juan Hill. But that's not the way it was. This is the same thing that happened during this particular instant with Emlyn Tunnell, where he saved 2 people, was probably given some kind of recommendation or commendation, probably wasn't given a medal or anything like that. But this commander saw his picture and recognized who this guy was and said, hey, let me do some checking on her. Why is this guy on here? And he found out that this guy deserved credit. And now they are not only naming a ship after him, but a building after him. And that's pretty cool stuff. I think that is great things. Let's talk before we run out of time here, because I want to share one more story with you. And this one is about Bianca Smith. So Bianca Smith, for those of you who don't know who Bianca Smith is, she just made history. So Bianca Smith just made history, officially joins the Boston Red Sox organization this spring as a minor league coach. She'll be the first Black woman to serve as a coach in professional baseball. Yay! This is great stuff right here, folks. Yay! Bianca, so she will be at Red Sox player development complex in Fort Myers, working primarily with position players. My goal, this is what Bianca says, my goal is to coach, to help develop our players, Smith said. Being on the field will hopefully inspire other women who are interested in this game and hasn't thought coaching was a route for them. Smith followed her the footsteps of her parents by attending Dartmouth College, playing in its softball team with an eye towards becoming a baseball general manager. She then did a joint law MBA program at Case Western Reserve University, working as director of baseball operations. While at the university, she currently assistant athletic director for compliance and administration and assistant baseball coach at Carroll University in Wisconsin. She also coaches several travel ball teams. This is exciting. Thank you so much for Bianca. I really wanted to end with that story because, once again, we as a people need to see that we are doing some awesome things in life. Not just great things. We are doing awesome things. Contrary to popular belief, this people in America are doing awesome things. And we need to acknowledge it each and every time we see it. Do I have time for one more? No, I don't have time for another story. I was going to give you a story about a young girl who, and we'll do it tomorrow. So I won't even do it. I won't go too far on that. We want to end the show by just once again acknowledging that we started the show with a story about Mary Wilson. And we really want to go back to that and talk a little bit about Mary Wilson once again. Can I find the story about Mary Wilson? There she goes. All right. Once again, Mary Wilson, rest in peace. You did a great job for the Supremes. Here's another picture of Mary Wilson during her show, because after Diana Ross left, Mary Wilson just took it on the road. She did it on the road, and that's the Mary Wilson I remember. I remember Mary Wilson very well as the leader of the Supremes, even after Diana Ross had left. And we thank you so much for being a part of our lives. So thank you, Mary Wilson. Anyways, so if you would like to get a hold of me, folks, I really appreciate it that you can get a hold of me at blacksuccessmagazine.com. You can even send me an email at info@blacksuccessmagazine.com. Next month, we are actually going to have our March edition of Black Success Magazine. Folks, I'm looking really forward to that because, once again, I'm doing a lot of stuff here. Because next month, we're going to have some great stories here. The stories we're going to have on Black Success Magazine are going to be the things that are going to inspire you to being greater. This has been Sherman Ray, Black Success Magazine, the podcast. We will see you again tomorrow when we'll talk more about success from a Black perspective. This has been Sherman Ray. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.